Welcome back to The Healthy Workplace, the podcast where we uncover real-world strategies to create a thriving and respectable work environment. I'm your host, Dr. Williams, and today we're tackling a big challenge that many employees face, and that is working under a narcissistic boss. If you ever dealt with a boss who craves admiration, they take credit for your work, they shift blame, or lacks empathy, you might be working for a narcissist. In today's episode, we'll explore how to identify these behaviors, practical steps employees can take, their rights to workplace, and any legal issues to consider. Plus, I'll share some real-world examples, expert insights, and what research says about narcissistic leadership to help you navigate this challenging situation with confidence. Let's start by understanding what narcissism is and how it affects leadership. Now, narcissistic personality disorder, NPD, this is a psychological condition. They have a deep need for excessive attention. Narcissistic people lack empathy for others. They don't care about what you're going through or how it affects you. Now, just to be fair, not all bosses and supervisors have narcissistic personality disorders. However, some display narcissistic tendencies that make the workplace challenging. Common traits of a narcissistic boss include a constant need for admiration and validation, lack empathy for others. They have manipulative or exploitative behavior. They love to blame others while taking undue credit. They react poorly to criticism. So when you criticize one of these people, they see that as an act of betrayal, and they are already formulating a plan in their mind how they are going to punish you because they cannot handle any type of criticism. They are controlling, micromanaging employees. They do this all the time. They gaslight these employees, making employees question their own perception of reality. So if this sounds familiar, you're not alone. So there's some research that shows that narcissistic leaders can create toxic work environments, and ultimately this leads to burnout, stress, and reduced productivity. So what does the research say? So I read some research in the Journal of Business Ethics, and they indicate that workplaces led by narcissistic bosses and supervisors, these workplaces tend to have a higher turnover rate, and they have lower employee engagement. There was also a study in the Leadership Quarterly. This found that narcissistic leaders often undermine team collaboration, so they fostering competition rather than cooperation. Employees working under these types of leaders report high levels of stress and anxiety, which lead to burnout and low overall job satisfaction. Now, there was a story I read a couple weeks ago from an employee who recently quit her job. She was basically saying that she had worked for a CEO who would constantly take credit for her and her team's ideas in meetings. He would micromanage their projects, dismiss any constructive feedback as an attack. Remember, I said, it's hard to criticize narcissistic people because they see it as an act of betrayal. She often found herself working late to fix these problems that weren't actually problems, only to be blamed when things didn't go according to his impossible standards. Now, this type of leadership, toxic leadership, not only affected her confidence, but this also drove her team members away. The team of this organization basically quit because they couldn't handle working in this type of situation. So these narcissistic behaviors can also bring down company morale. These employees, they start feeling undervalued. They don't feel appreciated, and it starts to demotivate them. Also lacks trust in the leadership. And this often leads to higher turnover, lower engagement, a reduced collaboration among team members. And over time, this type of behavior spreads, affecting all overall company performance and innovation. Now, another major consequence of working under a narcissistic boss is how it affects work-life balance. Employees may find themselves constantly stressed. They work these long hours to meet these unrealistic demands, dealing with last-minute changes that disrupt their personal time. Then there's the inability to disconnect work from due to a fear of backlash. And this has been caused or been shown to lead to chronic stress and anxiety and even health issues over time. Not only this, over time, this imbalance not only affects personal well-being, but also contributes to dissatisfaction and burnout among these employees. So employee retention also suffers in this environment. And this happens when we are being led by narcissistic bosses. Many talented employees choose to leave rather than endure a toxic work culture. Now, I'm talking about these are top talented individuals who have top skill sets that organizations want and need. Now, when they get into that organization and they see they are dealing with this toxicity, they would rather leave than deal with that. Companies with persistent leadership issues often struggle to attract these top talent individuals or even keep them because of just this behavior in this organization. These top talented individuals, they're not going to stay. They're going to leave. So if this is you, what can you do? Okay, so there's some strategies that I've been reading and developed over the years and applied to workplace issues as well in research. So if you're dealing with this type of boss, here are some effective strategies that I feel can help you, but not in any particular order, of course. So you always want to maintain professionalism. So because narcissistic people thrive on your reaction. So if you are staying calm, composed, and professional in all interactions, this drives them crazy. No matter what they say or do to you, you stay professional. Because the moment you lose it and start yelling, screaming, and just going off is all they need to use against you. They thrive on energy, whether that is positive or negative energy. They need that from you. Maintain professionalism at all times. You also want to set boundaries. So you want to limit personal information. And what that means is when you go to work, and that is it. You don't share any type of personal information about yourself with your coworkers, your boss. I know, human beings, we're social creatures. We like to talk about our achievements. But however, when you're working in this type of environment, that information that you share with people, they will use it against you in the long run. So for setting boundaries, keep all your personal life out of work. Just go to work, and that is it. Document everything. Keep a written record of emails, conversations, and directives to protect yourself. And this is mainly from false accusations or credit theft. So the moment that this behavior starts to affect you, or your boss is saying something rude to you, bullying you, or whatever it may be, document it. Document what happened, the time, who was there, who witnessed it. If anything was said, or as far as violating company policies or treating you with disrespect, document everything, because it is your word against theirs. And if you don't have any evidence, you probably won't get anywhere. But the moment you have all this information, you use that, because that is your protection. You also want to manage up. So this is basically saying that, you want to frame your ideas in a way that aligns with this self-interest. Find support. Now, many people, when they go to work, they tend to put a certain level of trust in some people that they trust. That could be coworkers or even a manager that they trust, or anyone, regardless of their position at work. If you trust someone, then trust them to confide in you, or you confide in them to share what happened, so that someone else knows about what's going on. Let's see. Also, you want to practice self-care. Now, narcissistic bosses can be emotionally draining. You want to prioritize mental health through exercise, mindfulness, or even professional counseling. Another strategy that many employees find helpful is this gray rock method. This technique involves becoming emotionally unresponsive to the narcissist's attempts to provoke or manipulate you. By providing minimal reaction and sticking to neutral, factual responses, you take away their ability to control the conversation. Now, let's talk about some of your rights in the workplace. Now, while having a narcissistic boss isn't illegal, certain behaviors cross ethical and legal boundaries. Harassment and discrimination. If their behavior commits or includes discrimination based on race, gender, age, disability, etc., or even harassment, this is a legal issue. You have the right to report it. Hostile work environment. A boss who creates severe or pervasive hostility can also violate labor laws. That's why it's important to document everything. Retaliation protection. If you report unethical or illegal behavior, you are protected from the retaliation under whistleblower laws. There's also employment contracts and company policies. So review those policies, review those guidelines to make sure that you are protected as well. So now, while narcissist bosses can create significant challenges, narcissistic coworkers can also drain morale and productivity. These colleagues, along with the bosses, they seek attention and validation. They will take credit for your work. They will manipulate your team and for personal gain. They are there to create drama in the workplace and disregard others' contribution and dismiss feedback. So, and research suggests that narcissistic employees can disrupt teamwork by fostering competition instead of collaboration as well. So there was a study in the personnel psychology found that teams with narcissistic individuals tend to experience lower trust, and they don't share anything. That is a reduced information sharing going on and more interpersonal conflicts. So how do you handle a narcissistic coworker? Just like the boss, stay professional. You want to avoid getting drawn into that power struggle because they are looking to use any information against you. Protect your work. Document contributions to ensure you receive proper credit. You want to avoid unnecessary competition. Focus on collaboration rather than rivalry. You want to limit your engagement with these individuals. Keep interactions all work related and avoid personal involvement. Don't share anything about yourself or your family or anything personal because they will use that information against you. You want to seek managerial support. If their behavior disrupts productivity, bring it to a supervisor's attention. So now, whether it's a boss or coworker, narcissistic individuals can challenge workplace harmony. However, by understanding their behaviors, setting boundaries, and seeking support, you can navigate these challenges effectively. Now, my question to you all is, have you ever worked with a narcissistic boss or coworker? Share your experience with me on social media. You can find me on social media at TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe, follow, leave a review, or even share it with someone that might need it. Until next time, I want you all to take care, be safe, and stay empowered in the healthy workplace.